YouTube, what's the deal? Hey, it's the Clipper Doctor back at you, doing another video comparison. My last video was Battle of the Beast, and that was the Clipper version, but this is going to be Battle of the Beast, the trimmer version. And these are my normal day-to-day trimmers that I use. I love them all, and I use them all. Of course, there are more out there, and if you all would like to see different comparisons from me, just comment and I'll go ahead and try to get some videos up to show those. However, today's contestants are going to be the FX Gold and Black skeleton trimmers, the Cordless Detailer LIs, and of course the Slimline LIs. I do not have the Andis T Outliner cordless, and of course that'll be in another video. And I believe I did some type of comparison a little while ago if you all want to check my old videos as well. However, this is what we got today. Now, to get started, I like to say this again, as I always tell you all. If I have them in my video in my personal arsenal, I like the Clipper. So you're not going to get too many negative cons or anything like that. And then there are sometimes that you're willing to deal with the cons because the pros outweigh the cons. So in no particular order, the question asked is which one is my favorite Clipper. I'll let you all know that in just a second, but let's go one by one and kind of decide on what's going on with them. First, you have the Babyless FX skeleton clippers. Now, I put the gold blade on there from my original gold FXs because I love this blade. There's nothing wrong with the 2.0 or anything like that, but it just seems to me that this blade, again, I don't know what it is. It's almost something magic about this blade. I love this blade. Babyless, you all did your job. You all have been listening to the client, to the barbers out here. You know we've been cutting the, what do you call it? We've been cutting and modifying our clippers for years. And you all finally have done something that just stops it to where we don't have to do that anymore. We appreciate that. The pros to this clipper obviously is the exposed blade, which again is the best, in my opinion, the best option for these clippers because we're doing designs, we're going around the ear area, mustache area, just everywhere where it's just a smaller, just anything that's smaller or harder to get to, you all help with this clipper. I mean, you did an amazing job with that. Realistically, it seems like these clippers, no matter which texture I put these clippers on, or these liners on, they do their job. I mean, now it's not necessarily a con, but I have run into some issues where more thicker hair, it may be a little bit harder to get through at times, but I have rarely had that issue. And again, some things that could be a little bit different is maybe, if they had an indicator light that says when it's getting ready to go dead, possibly. But these things, I mean, they're really for the most part ready to go. Again, I'm a major a stickler for being able to have a charger that allows your clipper to stand up, but that's not something I can just really consider a con. Another pro is that you see that clip inside. Let me get this for you. It allows your clipper to be able to stand up or hang upside down, which is also a great tool as far as in our day to day, because one thing a barber wants to do is kind of get things out of the way. So again, great clipper. I mean, I can't say much negative about this clipper. Let me give a shout out to Dennis and the people at Babyless, because I truly believe this company listens and cares about the barber needs. I mean, you all do a great job. Dennis, you know how much I appreciate the things you've done, man. So, and to let everybody know, I am not a sponsor or paid anything from Babyless or anything like that. I just really appreciate the service they've shown and the many different things, including to be able to customize your clipper. How cool is that, y'all? You can customize your clipper now. So that's that one. Now, I gotta get to my cordless detailer. A little bit about this clipper is that I've been using detailer since I started in barber school, and the detailer has been my favorite clipper since barber school. So it's kind of It was kind of great when they came out with this one. As we know, they came out with that cordless detail a little while ago. I hated it. I could not stand it, and I didn't understand the purpose for it. However, some people love it. So, but let's get started. The only con I believe I have with this clipper is the length of it. I mean, if you put it next to a Slimline Li, it's about the same size as a Slimline Li. The original detailer was maybe about this long. I kind of wish it would have stayed to that point, but you have to understand the battery is so big, so they have to kind of make sure that it can fit the battery to be cordless. So I would definitely understand them sacrificing bringing the clipper out and birthing this clipper into the world versus waiting on a lithium ion battery that can do this same power and be almost half the size. So we're good with that. The pros, just like the Babyliss FX, if you look at the neck of this clipper, although it's not as exposed as this clipper, you can see that little dent does allow you to be able to kind of get around the mustache area, the ear area a little bit easier because of this dip right here. The grips on the back of this, definitely a pro. Definitely. I mean, it gives you a little bit more grip to be to kind of feel and kind of, you know, keep it in your grip because you'll be lining and cutting and things like that, and the clippers can fall out and slip out of your hands. Major pro. Thank you, Wahl, for putting the power button, the power switch on the side of it. We appreciate that. I mean, that was pretty much genius. I don't know if you all have ever used the corded version, because as much as I love the corded version, I line up like this. So if you look at my pinky finger, it's down here. And guess what the switch was? Down here. So it'll be time I'll be lining up and I'm going and click. So thank you, Wahl, for being able to kind of be put this here on the side for us, because we needed that. Big pro is, again, anybody that follows me, you know I love clippers that charge standing up, and this does just that. It does have a good mount, a good charging dock. I love, and I wish I would have brought it, I love the charging dock has a swivel cord, so the cord on there moves from side to side. So if you're moving around, you're not jamming the cord up or creasing it or anything like that to give it a shortage. Detailers, Wahl, thank you all for the detailers looking like the detailer. If I put my hand like this, you really couldn't tell a difference between this and the old detailer, except for the switch. The blades on these are similar to the ones on the FXs. I personally don't think these blades need any modification. They're so sharp that when you zero gap these, I mean, you really will cut. I don't normally zero gap my Wahl detailers simply because of that reason. The FXs, you can kind of bring a little closer, but I will not recommend zero gapping these. These are too sharp. And that's a great thing because it's telling you the quality of blade. These will cut you as well, the FXs. But since barber school, I remember the mistakes I made. I mean, I've left a lot of lines on people thinking that I was zero gapping these clippers. And I just kind of put them maybe about a nails. Let me see if I can get closer in on that. Let me see, where is it? Okay. So if you can see it, it won't let me get too close. But anyway, it's not right up to the edge, and I do that on purpose. So, again, the blades, the removal of these blades to be able to zero gap them and swap them out is super easy. A few screws and that's it. So that's one thing I love about these. That's the pros to these. The con, again, is the size of it. I don't think I've ever witnessed these liners going dead on me. I'm not sure if I've done that. So that's neither here nor there though, because I don't remember the actual specs on the timing, but it does seem like every time I look up and put them on a charger, they're fully charged. So it doesn't take that long to charge these or these. And if you look at these, let's just compare them all. The detail is actually the smallest of all three of them. I like a liner that's smaller. I don't like too much a bigger liner. However, the FX Babyliss FXs, where they don't line up as far as the size because they're taller, they do measure up as far as the ergonomics of it. So they substituted length of it for the ergonomics of it, the feel of it. And I like the fact that it looks just like the Clipper. I mean, that was pretty decent. That was nice. I don't mean to jump back on the FXs, but let's move these over because I like both of these. So we've talked about both. Lastly, we have the Slimline LIs. Now, anyone who's ever used a Slimline LI, for the most part, knows it's a very lightweight liner. I mean, it's pretty quiet. Matter of fact, I forgot to let you all hear those. Let me let you hear these again. Let me hear these. And if you notice, the light blinks when you turn these on and use them. I like that. Just little things. I love little pieces of technology. These right here. Now, someone say these are louder. They are. However, they're not loud. I don't know how well the camera picks up. This is my first time using this thing, or first times using it. But these are not nowhere near unbearably loud. These are just louder than these two. But they, again, awesome liners. So we'll move these to the side. Slimline LIs, just great all around traditional liner. I mean, these should be, in my opinion, a part of everyone's arsenal. And the reason why I say that is because if you look at the liner, the blade, I'll put it in between these two. If you look at the blade, matter of fact, I'll just hold them up like this. You look at the blade on these here, it almost appears that they're about half the size of these. You see that? So when you're coming down to doing designs, let me put them around these as well. Like that, that'll be good. So that's the amount of excess blade on the FX. Now, that's not a bad thing, but I'm explaining the good thing about it being smaller. There are kids with smaller vertical bars on the hairline. This works perfectly for those. Designs where you're in tight spots, these work perfectly for those. So these, to me, in my opinion, they're in a category of their own because of their size. Now, if Wahl or the FX decided to make a T-blade similar to this, then we'd have some trouble for the Slimlines, in my opinion. But the Slimlines are on a class of their own simply because of that small spacing right here. That's a great thing. Again, like I said, for the kids with the small vertical bars, and you don't want to line the vertical bars up, because some of the vertical bars run directly on top of the eyebrow. And on some of these here, when you use this on that vertical area, you could run the risk of making a small line in the eyebrow. These come in perfectly for that. So, and also they do have a mount, a charging dock where they stand up. So you all know, again, I love that. So cons on this, I don't really run into many cons on these. I do hate that sometimes it's discolored after a while. It don't take too long for them to get discolored. But outside of that, I mean, these all are liners. So normally liners are going to have decent battery life simply because it's doing a job of lining only. You're not normally doing a full haircut with liners, so normally they last a little longer. But so now let's go back to the original question, because again, also we'll make sure we understand that this one weighs the lightest of the three, and obviously these will be the heavier. So in essence, the FX skeleton are taller, louder, and heavier, but they also are one of the more crisp lines. I mean, they also leave some of the most crisp lines straight out of the box. These two, well, mainly this one. Out of the box, you definitely have to set this one to line crisp. This one slightly, but these, when you open the box, they come out hitting. I mean, they're definitely crisp. So they're a little heavier than these, a little taller, and a little more louder, but they are not super loud. They're not super heavy or super tall. So hopefully that makes sense. Now, the detailers are in the middle. In my opinion, it's actually how they're lined up is basically how it is. Lighter, quieter, smaller. No, lighter, quieter, smaller, heavier, louder, and taller. if that makes sense. However, if I was asked which ones are my pickup go-tos in order, I gotta say it's gonna be the detailers, the FX, and the slimlines. Now, I understand most people, especially on Instagram and everything, would definitely agree that these would be number one. However, these are only number one because these were just what I've been working with since my whole barber career. And I'm used to these and everything like that. Plus they kept this here, the lip area, which I love. However, when I say this is number one and this is number two, trust me, I mean it like this. Like, if these go dead, as soon as these go dead, I'm going right here. No question. Or I might just go to the shop some days and just feel like using this one over this one. However, this one, the slimline, has never taken the place of neither one of these two for me. So I love this right here. And one thing I can say is maybe with Wahl or Babyliss could come up with a blade that could be small like this or adjusted somehow, because you could actually go and keep the same bracket at the bottom and just kind of have a smaller T-blade look. I mean, that might be a good thing to worry about comparing with this here. But the only comparison where this one comes up top is that the blade is smaller. That's the only thing I can say. So you all see my comparison, Battle of the Beast liner version. You all comment, subscribe, and please like this video. Any questions you all have, please ask him and I will be glad to take care of your questions. All right, y'all, again, Clipper Doctor out.